Cork 117, Limerick 225. A very comfortable win in the end for the Treaty men. They record their first win of 2022 and in the process record their first win of the 2022 Munster Senior Hurling Championship. An embarrassing display by Cork in the second half. Make no mistake about it. They were outscored 16 points to 5 from the 37th minute onwards. Cork scoring nearly as many points in the opening 2 minutes of the second half than they did in the rest of the game. Just very, very poor stuff from the Rebels. Massive worries if you are a Cork fan, because I don't even think Limerick were at their best in this game. I really don't. At the end of that game, really, they were going in cruise control. They were on autopilot in many ways. They could have probably stepped it up a notch if they needed to, but they just looked very, very comfortable going into the final 20 to 25 minutes. And, they still end up winning this game by what is that in total? An 11-point victory there from Limerick. Just so comfortable. And for Cork, worrying times, in my opinion. Look, I think Cork, when you look at the heart and determination that Tipperary showed earlier against Waterford, you could even make the case that the Rebels could even finish bottom of the Munster Championship this year. Look, obviously still a long way to go, but Cork, as we very well know, this is going to be their only game in Páirc Uí Chaoimh this year, which is a disgrace in itself, let's be honest. Cork should have a home game against Clare, and the fact that that's been moved to a neutral venue is nothing short of shambolic. But nonetheless, Cork were absolutely outclassed in the second half by this Limerick team, and Limerick delivering when it matters. They show up for the championship. They might have been poor throughout the league, but you just cannot write this Limerick team off. And for people who have wrote Limerick off, and I've seen it on Twitter and whatnot, and people saying Limerick won't make it out of Munster, Limerick this, Limerick that, you'd wonder what sport these people have been watching in the last couple of years, because it definitely isn't hurling. You know what I mean? Maybe they've been watching handball or something like that, because Limerick have been exceptional. And again, in this game, although they started slow, conceded that early goal in 16 seconds from Shane Kingston. There were 1-2 to no score for the first 7 minutes of the game. Couple of wides early on. You could see Limerick just kind of needed to settle into their rhythm, and probably in the opening 10 to 15 minutes were there for the taking. And arguably Cork, if they had been a little bit more clinical in front of goal themselves and create more chances themselves, they might have actually been further in front than they were. But once Limerick got going, once they settled down, once they started to, get a couple of scores on the board, from Jeremy Burns, who actually hit the first 3 points of this game from a Limerick point of view. Jeremy Burns was incredible in this game, by the way, man of the match, without a shadow of a doubt, in my opinion. He was hitting brilliant points from 45s and frees, but he was also getting a couple from play as well. I just thought he was very, very good in this game. And, even Barry Nash at times getting forward with a point, which was impressive. But really, Cathal Hayes' goal was really the sort of turning point. From there, Cork just seemed to struggle a lot more. And I think there has been a question around Cork's mentality at times. They've had a lot of ham-runs now in the last couple of years. They were absolutely demolished in the All-Ireland final. They were ragdolled by Waterford in the league final. And they've been beaten fairly comprehensively in this one as well. And Limerick weren't even at their best, in my opinion. They still have an extra 20 to 30% to go up on. And you will see Limerick produce better performances this year than this one. But a brilliantly taken goal from Cathal Hayes, a trademark run at this stage. We've seen it before. Not as good as his goal against Tipperary last year, but, up there, make no mistake about it. Very, very well taken goal. And, for Cork, I just thought, obviously you're watching this game on the TV, so you can't see the movements of the forwards, but it was certainly something they highlighted in commentary. And you've seen that Cork defence at times, the likes of Niall O'Leary, Mark Coleman, Damien Cahalane as well, just dilly-dallying on the ball, struggling to get it into midfield, struggling to play through the lines. They were very much trying to play a running game in that first half, and it just wasn't working. And you've seen Cork trying to play out from the back, trying to play a short game, intercepted by Cathal Hayes. He plays it into Aaron Gillane, who's in an ocean of space right there. I mean, he's got acres of space to run into, slots it into the back of the net. And, Limerick were comfortable, really. I mean, they were leading at half-time by 2-9 to 1-8 at half-time. And, as I said before, they still had another level to go up on. And what did they score in total in the second half? 16 points in the second half, nearly double their tally of what they scored in the first half. At the start of the second half, Cork did make a bit more of a game of it, like in the opening couple of minutes, couple of Conor Lehane points. They obviously had that chance as well, which was very well saved by Nicky Quaid. If that goes in, once again, Cork, like right from the throw-in, creating all sorts of problems for Limerick. And maybe that will be something that Limerick might have to address, because let's not forget they conceded quite an early goal in the All-Ireland final against Cork last year as well, from what I remember. And that was also Shane Kingston, who is certainly making a habit of scoring goals against this Limerick side. So definitely something for Limerick to watch there. But I just felt like once Limerick built up a bit of a lead, like a more than, once they built up a 4 to 5 point lead, I felt like Cork just threw the towel in, let's be honest. Like they hit 5 points from the 37th minute onwards, one of which was from play, all Patrick Horgan points as well. Like, that's just not good enough at all, is it? And like, I'm just having a look there. I don't even know, did they get any scorers from their bench? Their bench really didn't do anything. Alan Connolly, who came on, Luke Meade as well. Seamus Harnedy probably didn't have the impact that we'd like to see from a Cork perspective. And Limerick were just in cruise control. They were in autopilot, and, Aaron Gallan was hitting points. Cian Lynch, I mean, he was even, hitting points off his arse at one stage. I mean, it was incredible stuff, really, from Limerick. And, Dan Morrissey getting forward, he was getting in on the action. Cathal O'Neill with a wonder point towards the end of the game. So it was just very, very comfortable indeed from Limerick in total. And just looking at it there, how many scores did they have in total there? They must have had, 1, 2, 3, 4, nearly 10, 11, 12 scores in total in the game. Pat Ryan coming off the bench, David Reedy getting a point as well. Like, they were just all getting in on the action. And I think that is what we have seen with Limerick. Let's not forget they still have Shamie Flanagan to hopefully come back in at some stage as well. So they're looking very, very good. They really, really are. TVPC says here, split Limerick in two. I'm sure there will be calls for that, because that's just kind of how people go about in GAA circles, which is just a bit of a joke, really. But look, Limerick absolutely brilliant, and they've set the tempo, they've set the stone out now. Waterford obviously next week at home. I don't think Waterford will be as poor as Cork were in that second half, and Waterford will certainly look at some of the goal chances Limerick conceded in this game. Although probably just 2, 3 clear goal chances. Obviously had that Patrick Horgan one which flashed wide, I think, as well, or was it Shamie Harnedy maybe? That was obviously a chance late on in the game. So maybe they will have to look at that. But from an opening game to be hitting 225 away at Páirc Uí Chaoimh, and a tough atmosphere as well, you could definitely see the fans were very much on the back of the Treaty men, make no mistake about it. But Limerick stood up, delivered, and produced a big, big performance. For Cork, the good news is, well, they can't lose next weekend because they're not playing next weekend. I think it's a bye week for them next week. So they'll be able to take the weekend off and regroup, of course, for the next weekend. I might double check that, actually, because I'm sure there will be people who love to pick on little small mistakes here and there that might correct me on that one. So we might double check that one for once, just to see if it is Cork who have the bye week next week. But in terms of Limerick in total, look, they are the All-Ireland favourites for a reason. You can see that. You can see how well they played in this one as well. And they and as I said, like, they still have another level to go up on. In my opinion, they really, really do. So absolutely brilliant from Limerick. Just checking there. Yeah, Tipperary Clare next week. So I was right in regards to that one. So yeah, congratulations to Limerick. They deliver on the opening day of the season. Cork, on the other hand side, very, very poor in the second half, as I said. And I think Limerick very much in the driving seat, as always, in the Munster Championship. Jack says Cork were naive if giving them puck outs. Yeah, losing the ball far too much. And in the second half, they were just getting turned over time and time again, going short far too often in the first half and just dilly-dallying around at the back. A lack of movement up top is what they said in commentary. Mightn't have been wrong. By the looks of things, I thought Horgan was fairly quiet. Shane Kingston, although he got the goal in the opening 16 seconds, did nothing for the rest of the game. So, massive things to work on for Cork and Kieran Kingston's men. Make no mistake about it. We'll go ahead and wrap this up here anyway. Stay tuned for more videos, reactions to come soon. There will be a reaction out later for Sligo against the mighty men from New York, which is happening a little bit later. So stay tuned for that. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Very much appreciate all the new subscribers that have come to the channel recently as well, and all the comments and whatnot. Like, very, very much does appreciate. I do appreciate all that. You know, I do this part-time. I do this in my own time. You know, and I just it does help. You know, it's nice to see the channel grow. So yeah, very, very much appreciated there. But Dennis, we'll finish up with this comment here. Cork haven't learned a thing with this management team. Absolutely no marking. Yeah, they're just defensively wide open, and yeah, you'd wonder. You know, we've seen this time and time again now with Cork. Cork nearly remind me of the Mayo footballers in some ways, in the sense of, you know, how they approach games. They're just so naive at the back, you know, man to man, leaving so much space. And even though you're going up against one of the best teams in the country, like, surely there has to be much more of a defensive plan. You're not going to outscore this Limerick team if you go toe-to-toe with them. Let's be perfectly honest. Maybe they felt they would be able to do that because it was the opening game and Limerick weren't particularly great in the league. But we know once Limerick click into gear, they're a very, very hard team to stop. And it proved to be the case in this one. So, yeah, congratulations to Limerick, and I'll see you all later.